Hi, I'm Luna Anna, and I want to thank you for being here. And if you're watching on YouTube or Spotify or on my Facebook page, or if you're listening to the audio on a podcast platform, just want to say thank you. And I also just want to apologise because I know that the sound is not great, but I have tried everything in terms of settings and mic position, etc. And this is just the best that I can get it. So I'm so sorry. I do suggest that you turn it up. That should help. And I don't know what else to suggest. I'm so sorry. I am trying my best and hopefully you can hear me. It's always sounds okay when I'm doing it, and then afterwards the recording doesn't sound right. So not sure what's going on. I'm doing my best to resolve it, and I will resolve it as quickly as I can for you all, but hopefully this will be good enough this morning for you all. So I wanted to come on and speak to you all about healing the patriarchy with love, because healing the patriarchy with love is the name that I gave to a series of videos that I did on YouTube that can still be found on there under that title. And I did them about 8 months ago, and subsequently I then named my podcast Healing the Patriarchy with Love. And when people hear this name, some people get it and some people don't. So what I wanted to do was just provide a little bit of information about why it's called Healing the Patriarchy with Love. And I know, excuse me, I know that normally, the word patriarchy doesn't get spoken with the word love in the same sentence. It's not the norm. It's not what we've been doing in the past. And I know that. And the reason why I've called it Healing the Patriarchy with Love is because love heals. And it's not about loving patriarchy. You don't have to love patriarchy. You don't even have to like it. And you can still be angry about it and all the rest of it. But it's just my way of saying that it's love that heals things. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to heal the patriarchy with love. And I'm asking us to do it because I like to look at things in terms of soul contracts and the roles that people are playing. And so, the people that are really kind of drawing patriarchy to our attention, whoever they may be for you, and it might be different for everybody, whoever those people are, they're just holding more of the patriarchal energy for us all. And it's just their soul contract to draw your attention to it. And the reason why they're drawing your attention to it is so that you will do something to heal it. And what I tend to see is people shouting and getting angry and wanting the people that seem to be holding the energy of patriarchy and making it really obvious to us all. They're kind of complaining and pushing and wanting them to change. And the thing is, they're not going to change. They're not going to change because what their soul contract, their role is to get us to be the solution. Okay, so they highlight the problem and we are here to be the solution. And so that's why, complaining about it and wanting them to change and wanting everybody to wake up and see what these people are doing doesn't create a solution and doesn't solve the problem. In fact, it just keeps us stuck on what I call a roundabout. So it's like going round and round around a roundabout, trying to get these people to change when the exits for us are actually clearly marked. And those exits are that we become the solution to the problems that are being shown to us in the world. And I know that can be irritating because it feels a bit like they're being let off the hook, or they're not being accountable, or they're getting away with it. I really understand that. I get that. I can empathise with that deeply. But it's not their place. It's not actually their role within the play, within the world, to change and be the solution. It's our role to be the solution, and it's their role to draw our attention to what the problem is. And once you get that straight, then you can go ahead and just be the solution. And that just withdraws you completely from that roundabout. So there you go, there's your exit, off you go, off the roundabout. And so that's why it's called Healing the Patriarchy with Love. But also just because my soul, one of the things that my soul elects me to do is to bring through new frequencies onto the planet. And as I said, previously, the word love and patriarchy would never be considered, never spoken together in a sentence, and never considered to be something that you can put together. And so my soul has chosen me to bring through the frequency of healing the patriarchy with love. And I have noticed recently that there are more people that were really angry about it that are starting to post things like, oh, I don't feel as bad about it now, and things like that. So the frequency is starting to amplify on the planet. So I'm pleased to say that it's working. It's, but because it's a new frequency, I do feel like I have to keep kind of sharing the message of the frequency. And so that was the message of the frequency, basically. And so the podcast is about celebrating people that I believe are healing the patriarchy with love. In other words, the people that are being the solution. And so that's what the guests are. They're people that are being a solution in the world rather than a problem. But there's it's a little bit deeper than that as well, because I like to simplify things. So patriarchy is a very complex issue, and you could be very academic about it, and I think there's a real place for that, and I love it when I read things like that. That's really clever. But what I do is I simplify things and make it really accessible for people. So I've also got a theory which sort of ties into the healing the patriarchy with love frequency that I'm bringing through. And that is regarding, how our internal landscape, in other words, our subconscious, colours our reality outside of us. And so if we think about, our reality as being coloured with patriarchy, and then we go back sort of and look into our sort of our psychology, our subconscious, our internal makeup, then there's an easy way to work out what's happening. And this theory of mine has come from in Buddhist traditions. They think that wisdom is masculine and that compassion is feminine. And so that sort of got me to thinking that the mind is masculine. It has masculine qualities. It's yang in its essence, and the heart has feminine qualities, and it's yin in its essence. So the heart is the feminine, the mind is the masculine. So when we look at patriarchy and we really kind of look at it, and like I say, I'm simplifying it, and I accept that it's a bit more complex than this, but I'm trying to simplify it to make it accessible and understandable to everybody. When we look at it there, we can just say, well, actually what's happening outside in the world that is patriarchal is basically everything that has a yang essence, whether that's an actual man or just something more logical and reasoned and structured, those kind of masculine qualities. It's getting more attention, more energy, more focus given to it, and it's more revered. It's more valued, it's more relied on. And anything that's got a yin essence, you can even look at this in terms of, if you even look at a school, for example, anything that's got a yin essence, like art, for example, music, anything kind of creative, dance, that kind of thing, it's kind of downgraded, isn't it? And then you've got kind of like science and maths is like the big one, isn't it? And science and maths is masculine, and art and music is feminine. So that's like a really easy example to use and to bring into that. So patriarchy is actually just the overvaluing of the masculine, and that doesn't mean that the masculine isn't valuable, by the way. I greatly value the masculine, and I actually love yang, things that are yang in their essence. And indeed my brain, because I'm autistic, so it's neurodivergent, so my brain's quite young. So I really love, the masculine and all things masculine, but it's just so it's not negating it. It's not saying, oh, well, the mind is nothing now, so we're just going to pay attention to the feminine heart, because that'll create another imbalance. What we're doing is we're just tweaking it slightly so that there's a better balance. And the way that we tweak it is we start with ourselves and our internal landscape. And so we pay more attention to our hearts, and we let our hearts be the guide. And that doesn't mean that we ignore our mind. I'm not a fan of, trying to manipulate and control your mind and stop it from thinking negative thoughts and all that kind of thing. That's very, very old paradigm. And, so it's not that the mind is bad or that we're going to just not listen to the mind anymore or pay the mind any attention anymore. It's that we've paid too much attention to it. So in other words, we've paid too much attention to the masculine, and we've paid too much attention, over relied on and overvalued this masculine part of ourselves in favour of under relying on and undervaluing the heart. And that's the key bit. It's the imbalance I'm talking about. Neither the mind or the heart will be negated, because that doesn't heal the patriarchy with love. That just creates more problems. But it's just a rebalance so that it's not all about the mind, so that we're not only interested in the masculine qualities in the world. And so that's how we heal the patriarchy with love ourselves. And that's, the guests that are on the show, and certainly in season 2, it will definitely be a celebration of anyone that is living from the heart, because living from the heart is the way that we heal the patriarchy with love. So I hope that helps to explain things a little bit. I'm open to being asked questions, so please do ask questions if you've got them. And I would love you to come along and listen to the podcast for season 2, which is launching this week. Okay, so you can look it up on any platform. It's on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Google, all the big platforms. Some of the pod ones, I can't remember what they're called now. But if you search Healing the Patriarchy with Love, you will find it. Okay, so I hope that helps. I can't wait to see you there, and I'm really looking forward to season 2 with you all. And thank you to everybody who has listened, shared, commented, joined in, and for all the amazing guests that I've had and will have. Thank you. Okay, now, bye.